Good morning, everybody. We're so happy to have you here for our Family Ties event on water safety and water play. My name is Allie Byrne. I'm the Family Advocate and Liaison for Serves Kids. Our goal with these Family Ties events is to provide you and your family with great information that you can learn, but also take home and apply it in your everyday life. Today, we're really excited to have experts here on water safety and water play. We have Rob and Janice of Rob's Pool School, which is out in Collierville. They're going to talk to us today, and we're really excited. They've got over 25 years of experience, so we are anxious to learn and hear from them.
Hi, I'm Rob Schnover. This is my wife Janice. 1995, we started the pool school at the old Wilmington Sports Club complex. We've been going ever since then. And we're currently located at St. George's Independent School in Collierville. Because of what we do, we pay close attention to statistics that involve swimming and pools and anything that's aquatic. And at this time of year, we're going to 90 degrees this week. Backyard pools can be opening up all over Memphis. And people need to start thinking about what is a safe backyard pool. And it's a great addition to your home. It's a great recreation facility. If you have teenage children, if you have a pool, you probably have your teenagers there all summer along with their friends. It's just a great addition to your family, but it comes along with some liability that you need to be aware of. In the United States, a good year for drownings is less than 3,000 people. Okay?
Traen diarios temas ahí que están en la cable, que es como proteger tus niños contra la alberca, en la casa.
In the United States, a good year for drownings is less than 3,000 people. A bad year is over 3,000 people. If you break down the demographics of those drownings, depending on how you count preschool, it's somewhere between 400 and 700 drownings are preschool children. Of those drownings, 70% are backyard pool.
Un número de unos niños para nosotros van a ser 3,000. Un año va a ser más de 3,000 y de los 3,700 a 400 son niños de la edad 4 y medio.
Outside of that, 70% that are taking place in backyard pools. For every one drowning, another 3 children go to the emergency room for a near drowning experience. So we're looking at another 3,000 to 4,000 kids that have been at least unconscious and had the ambulance show up and take them to the emergency room. So with that startling statistic in mind, it's really important that you think about what can make your backyard pool safe.
Hay 3 o 4 que te van a dar emergencia y que él te va a decir cómo proteger los sitios, dar una beca para tu casa, para proteger los niños.
The basics that make the pool safe are there should be a fence around the pool that is 4 feet high. It should have a gate that is on a spring, so that spring will swing shut every time somebody goes out. It should have a latch on it that latches automatically and is at least high enough that a toddler can't reach up and open it. Those are the basics. Beyond that, we should also have, if the house forms one of the sides of the pool, there should be an alarm on the doors when somebody goes out that everybody knows that somebody's walked out of the house and onto the pool deck. And those are, everybody that has home alarm systems right now, it's just like it's a gentle bong or something like that. It's not like an air raid siren or anything like that. It's just something that allows you to know that somebody has opened the door and has walked out onto the pool.
Que para que ellos algo cuando se tiran una vuelta atrás, deben de tener una puerta que es más de 4 pies y que trae una spring para que se cierre ya cuando usted la abre, se cierra sola y que trae algo para que algo que está más de 4 pies para que
Additional things that can make the pool safe also. And what brings us to mind is we have a backyard pool. We're very conscious of all these things because of what we do. We had all the things in place that we think makes the pool safe. And then we watched our 3-year-old great niece watch the dog go through the dog door, and then she went through the dog door out on the pool deck right behind the dog. So then we dropped the slide in the drop on the dog door so she couldn't get out that way. So it could never be too much prevention.
A la vez es muy peligroso porque hay motivos que se están de la casa a la huerta y que cuando ellos estaban viviendo en la casa, que ellos miraron que tenían todo seguro y ya cuando el perro se fue en la puerta del perro y que miraba a su hija y fue el mismo lado. Y que nunca hay, que no existe mucha seguridad para ellos.
Additional factors that need to be brought into play is life-saving equipment. And just the vacuum pole being on the fence where if you need it, you can reach somebody with the vacuum pole. Or if you want to go even more, it is a lifeguard tube, the red tube that the lifeguards use around pools in the ocean that can be used to reach somebody or to use buoyancy for you to go get somebody. Now, the thing about that is you need to use them as lifeguarding equipment. They need to be in one spot all the time where if you need it, you know where to go to get it. It can't be, the kids can't be playing with it because it's fun to float on it and all that sort of thing.
Que si quieres puedes tener como el palo que usa para limpiar la alberca para como jalar de la alberca si le está ahogando o también si puedes tener un tubo en la salvavidas y que pero lo tienes que tener guardados para que no para que los niños que más para que no se.
One thing that Disney World and Coach Rob's Pool School have in common is that we are anti-arm floats. Arm floats are not a good thing. Anything that you can blow up for safety can deflate. They're basically you're trusting your child's safety to a piece of equipment that is about 3 times thicker than a party balloon. and we don't like them because they're not safe, but it also makes kids harder to teach children how to swim because they're vertical all the time. We want them to be horizontal to learn how to swim. They find comfort zone at this point. When we try to move them onto their stomach, they're resistant. But also simply the fact that they're not safe. They're just not a good safe piece of safety equipment. We recommend a life jacket. The life jacket has to fit properly. If it's too big and they put their arms up, they can fall through the bottom of the life jacket if they don't have the leg strap that goes between their legs. Okay? That's an important part of it. And then zips up and clips, and they can't get out of it. You can tell if it's a good piece of equipment, it'll have this stamp on the inside of it, which is by the Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard. And they have certified that this is a good life jacket and serves its purpose. But the pool school is an anti-floaties organization.
Que los flores que pones en las manos del niño, que no son tan altas como piensas, porque se pueden inflar, y también que no son buenos porque cuando están tratando de enseñar, los flores le ayudan más que hace para, y ya cuando lo quieren hacer para aprender a nadar, que no se pasa, no va a querer. Y que está diciendo que la chaqueta que está arriba está muy buena, algo más que queda bien, que si el niño levanta sus manos, que no se salga de él, porque si eso sí más puede salir bien, que también que tenga el strap abajo para que no se pueda salir de él, y que tenga esa estampilla en la mano para que de que sí con la salida que es certificado por los autos.
Over the last 10 to 12 years, there's been an uptick in the number of backyard pool activities, drownings and near drownings, and it can't be substantiated, but what is indicated is that the reason is the cell phone, where people are not paying close attention. They're not paying close attention to the child in the water. They get on the phone, they're looking, and if you have a pool party where you're going to have multiple kids there, somebody should be designated as the pool watcher, the lifeguard. That person should not be on the phone. They should be watching the pool at all times. If it's a real large party, we would recommend that you get a lifeguard. And you bring a lifeguard to the pool that will watch it and, of course, not be on the phone.
Está diciendo que el nuevo que está pasando es que a veces y que si van a tener una fiesta, que a menos que tenga una persona que les va a mirar todos los niños, que no están en el teléfono para protegerlos que no se vuelvan. Y si es una fiesta muy grande, pueden acudir a los que trabajan para que quede bien.
And the reason that that's not substantiated is simply that when the child ends up in the hospital and they're asking how this happened to their parents, are going to say, well, I was on my cell phone, I wasn't watching, and that sort of thing. So it's just kind of a subjective observation by water professionals. Next thing after the pool party is that if you have a pool, then you should know CPR. Just as worst case scenario that you would want if there is an accident, you're prepared to act. If you have a babysitter come into the house and you're going to be gone, it should be discussed with the babysitter whether your kids are going to be allowed to go in the pool, not be allowed to go in the pool. Remind the babysitter that There will not be the cell phone out if you're watching them. And also, the babysitter should know the address of the house in case you need to make that emergency call. So those are just some precautionary tales. Like I said, we keep track of these statistics and horror stories. 2 summers ago in Florida, 23-year-old boys drowned. And the additional tragedy and victim in this was the 16-year-old girl was the babysitter. So, this is a discussion that needs to be had. It is whether you're going to allow them to go into the pool and how comfortable you are with the babysitter in that particular section. I'm sure the pool builders in the United States would never want to have me telling this story right now because we might be losing sales. But the one other thing that needs to be addressed is diving. And home pools many times are 3 foot to 4.5 foot. Pools of that depth are not safe to dive into. There are more head and neck injuries from diving into backyard pools yearly than there are in all levels of football, high school, collegiate, pro. And if the head strikes the bottom, the forehead hits the bottom of the pool and jerks back with 200 pounds of pressure, which would be a child over 100 pounds. It pushes the head back so violently that it severs the spinal column at the base of the neck, and the child's paraplegic or the adult, because it happens more with adults than it is children. And the worst scenario is somebody diving in with their hands at their side. Referred to as a sailor dive or different names, but it's Uncle Harley after he's had 4 beers, and then he goes like that and hits his head and drives it back. And also if they're unconscious, they will also drown. So diving needs to be at 5 foot or deeper, and never with the hands at their side. Always having the hands over the head to protect the head. It's better to have a broken wrist than something worse. So those are one other factor, and it's just a reminder that if there's a birthday party and cutting the cake, and all of a sudden there's 6 kids and there's only 5 of them there, the first place you're going to look, of course, is the swimming pool. And a lot of times people are panicked by this, and they run out. And if this was the side of the pool right here, if I was standing back 6 feet from the edge of the wall, I would not be able to see where the wall meets the bottom. And that's where an infant or a toddler is going to land. A little kid of 3-year-old is not swimming 10 feet out in the pool and going down. They're going to reach for a toy or something, they're going to fall into the pool. And that they'll be tucked in against the wall, and you have to walk up to the side of the pool where you can see the entire bottom to make sure that they're not on the bottom of the pool. Toys are an attractive nuisance. When you're done with the playtime, they need to be taken out of the pool, whether it's a ball, a float, whatever it is. Our experience in years of teaching, kids will personify balls, floats. They will give them personalities that are very concerned when they see them in there. And they'll try to reach and grab them, and that's when they fall in. So we need to take all toys out of the pool at the end. Other than scaring everybody to death, I hope not. I hope that everybody has a wonderful summer around the pool and they enjoy it. And of course, the most important thing that will allow your child to be safe is that they know how to swim. And we look at kids swimming in 3 different levels. The first level is a child swims well enough that they're pool safe, which means that they can swim across the swimming pool. If they jump in, they can turn around and get back out. And that can be hard sometimes because they're going in vertical and they got to get horizontal to go back to the wall. So that requires some strength and ability. The second level is open water safe, and the demographics on open water safe changes from pools are preschool children, and open water is the main demographic that grounds there is teenage boys, where they are challenging each other to swim out to the raft or the lake or something like that. Somebody doesn't make it. And that would be, to be open water safe, they need to be able to swim at least 50 yards, which would be the length of an Olympic swimming pool, 50 meters. And then the last highest level of ability would be moving water safe. Rip current, currents in a river, and they need to be strong swimmers to deal with that. We were down at the Gulf Coast one time, and we were Destin, and the guy's talking to the lifeguard, and he says, "Where are you from?" He says, "I'm from Memphis." He goes, "Man, everybody had pull out down here from Memphis. What's the story?" So I don't know, but I hope that with over 25,000 children who have learned to swim at our pool school, we've ameliorated that just a little bit. But thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. Now, the brains behind the operation. And when we started the pool school in 1995, I was coaching elite athletes for prior 25 years. And Janice watched me in the water with a group of 3 and 4-year-olds. And she said, you know an awful lot about swimming. You don't know anything about 3-year-olds. And I agreed with that. And I said, okay, get in the water, Smarty, and show me what you got. And the rest was history, because she changed the way we approached everything in the water. So
I have been given the task of tips and tricks today. So basic ideas of making it more individual to your child. My name is Janice Snowberger, and I am a retired registered play therapist. So I have worked with children extensively, but from a more of a play perspective, and perhaps you might get in some other therapy situations. So my first tip is have lots of fun. But kids learn by play, and my philosophy is that you let your child learn to swim, and you don't make your child swim. And they will usually be very cooperative if you're doing something that they just really enjoy. So first tips and tricks is to know your child, teach them how to swim, and no matter what the ability level, they can still use swimming as a lifetime fitness activity, even if you don't ever feel that they're comfortable being swimming independently. Number one, when you discuss swimming, talk it out, it's fun, make it fun. But when you go to the first pool you go around and Rob was describing all your safety equipment. Make sure that you discuss with your child each piece of equipment, where it belongs and why it has to stay there. So, these are not toys, and so that they also are familiar with all these weird things that they're seeing that they've never seen before. So make them a little bit more comfortable. Then as you approach the pool, one of the first things you'll want to know is how to enter the pool safely and how to exit the pool safely. So if you, depending on where you are, if there's stairs or steps, or a lot of kids, especially if they're rather impulsive, will just want to jump into the pool. When they jump into the pool, then they have nowhere to go because they don't have swim. So that is a discussion that a parent should have with them. So as they learn to enter safely, now they have to know how to get out. So back to the side, monkey walk to the exit, and out of the pool. So that takes a little bit of experience to learn. And the other thing to discuss is adults. We say always have an adult. Define adults. Is your 10-year-old neighbor who's older than you are an adult? No. Is a stranger an adult? Yes, but not one to swim with. You know, so there has to be that discussion of defining who your adults are and who is a safe person to be with, because I know that there's going to be special concerns sometimes around that. Then, so that's basic tips. Now tricks. Learning to swim starts before you even take your child to the swimming pool. It starts the first time you get in the bath, the first time you get wet. Again, make it fun and monitor your reaction to the child. So yeah. Well, we have a little baby. This is the best we could come up with for a child. So we're going to try this today. But okay, so if they get their face wet, don't immediately, rip them out of the water. Oh my God, you've got his face wet. Just laugh and make it fun. Oh, you've got a wet face. Look at this. But just like you would if they fell and scratched their knee or had a little boo-boo. Teach them that these things are okay. Then there's just a lot of different things, and I think Allie has prepared a demonstration of some things that you can do for water play with little ones, just to teach them how to get their faces wet, how to get their ears wet, how to kick their feet in the water, and then by the time you get them to the pool, they're ready to learn to swim. And once again, you know your child, so plan the activities that are fun for them. If they like dinosaurs, use dinosaurs. If they like dolls, use dolls. Whatever works, it makes them happy. And then by the time you get to the pool, then they will be able to get their faces wet. Once you get to the pool, here's some tips for being at the pool. When you're getting to the pool with your child, hold them away from your body, not against your body. You're doing all the work when you do this, and they're not doing anything. So hold them and then you can control their position and how deeply their face goes into the water or doesn't go into the water. They're feeling buoyancy, so hold them securely, but hold them away from your body. Then you can kick. You can roll them on their backs, and you still have control, but they are actually having to do some other work. Now, when you get them on your back, put them on your shoulder, up about here in the water, and start with them with their head on your shoulder, and then gradually get them deeper and float them off. So if you're holding them here, you're controlling their head and how deep it is in the water, because at first the kids probably don't like the water in their ears very much. It's going to take a little bit of this too. So you can kind of work with that so that you're not frightened and they feel very secure, but yet they're learning how to float themselves. And then pretty soon you'll get to the point where you can stand there and just put your finger on the back of their head and be able to float themselves. And that's a good place to be. So that's some little tips for what to do for getting into the water. Now, the basic skills to learn first: blowing bubbles, learning how to exhale into the water. You want your child to get to the point where if water hits their face, they immediately blow out instead of sucking in. So bubbles, and I think you have some toys to do bubble blowing. So then you also need to kick. If you fall into the pool, the first thing the water hits your face, you want them to exhale, and then you want them to kick and to reach out and grab the side. So you need to do bubbles and kick and back to the side, so that they are safe. Hopefully they'll learn the skills. Then a little bit more important thing is rolling on your back. So if your child can go from falling into the pool, and if they can right themselves, they blow water out, they're kicking, roll over on their back. A verbal child can now scream for help. They can clear their airway, and if they are able to float on their back, they can stay there for quite a while in a safe position with their face out of the water. So those are the first things that we start off in teaching the kids to swim. Now getting out of the pool, swimming to the side, reaching up, and then hand over hand, monkey walking to the exit point. I think I touched on that earlier. So that they're not then going to push back off the wall. Most preschool drownings happen within 3 feet of the edge. So it's really important. Kick, blow bubbles, reach up and get the pool, or roll on your back. Those are the very first things to learn. Then most kids like to jump. So you have, this would be a toddler now or older, come up to the side and they just jump in the pool. They don't know. Now they're in the pool, but they don't know how to swim. They don't know where they're going yet. I have no idea what to do next. But that's, so when you're playing in the pool with your child, it's great. It's fun. Jump in, catch them, turn them around, and say back to the side. Always back to the side. That's a 2-step process. Not just jump to me. Jump in, turn around, and kick back to the side. Because we want that to become just an automatic reaction. And we try to do that when they get into the water. And the same thing goes for older children. Even if they can swim, it's the same thing. They just run and jump in. They have no idea where they're going. What's your next step? Take place. Are you going to jump in and swim to someone? Or are you going to jump in and go to the side? Are you going to jump in and swim to the ladder? There's always has to be, I'm going to jump and then what's next. So just kind of talk it over with the child about thinking about the next safe place. They may have a flotation device that they need to be thinking about, not jumping, but how to carry that whole process through. We have, let's see. And then once you get started with that, then you can get all the games and the toys and the basic skills of how to encourage your child or allow your children to learn these things. Just do what comes naturally to them, whatever they like. Most kids have favorite things, toys that they like, or actions that they like to do. And Allie, you said you had some things you wanted to show?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rob and Janice. That is so much valuable information to think about and be reminded of, especially as we approach summer, that we're maybe thinking about the fun that we're going to have on vacation or in a pool or in backyards, but not necessarily the safety. So that is an excellent reminder. If you do not have a pool in your home, if you're not traveling to the beach or going on vacation or anything like that where you're going to be around larger bodies of water, there are so many activities that you can do at home that your child can begin playing with and being around water and having fun with water and activities. So that's what I'm going to share this morning. There are 4 different things specifically that I'm going to go over, 4 different types of activities. But what I love about water play is you can use all of the objects in your home. You don't need to go out and buy anything. You've got cups and containers or pitchers or measuring cups, all of these great tools that you'll find often in your kitchen that you can introduce to your child when they're playing with water. So everything that I'm going to be sharing is things that you'll find around your house for you to have fun with water with your children. So the first thing is a toy wash. And of course, you're going to have some sort of a container, if it's Tupperware, or if you want to have a larger bin, or if you have an older child who's able to stand up, you can have one of like the storage bins that they can lean over to and play in. And for a toy wash, I always have one of these outside in our backyard. We've got a big bin with all of our water activities. So you're just, of course, grabbing a handful of toys that you've got around the house. You can do theme toys if you want to do like your farm animals get dirty in sand, or you're playing with them outside in the grass and you need to wash them off. Dumping them into a bin, putting some soap in there, and giving them a good wash. If you're washing any dishes at home, you've got one of these so you can wash and scrub your animals or your toys. You can get them clean this way. So this is a great activity, the toy wash that we like to do. Another activity is a sponge squeeze. And of course, you can have a couple sponges that you're using. If you want to set out a few different of these, you can have one that's empty, one that has a lot of water, dipping your sponge in there, letting it soak up water, and then carrying it over to the next container, squeezing it, watching the water come out, talking to your child, wow, you're really soaking up a lot of water, and getting into the next container. If you want to race with your child or have a competition, you can do that, of course, but filling up buckets and containers by using just simple sponges that you've already got in your home. The next activity is like a fishing theme where you can use a net or a colander if you've got a bigger container, or a slotted spoon. This is great that you can dump a lot of things into a bin and simply use your spoon to get them out. You can carry them over into another container, filling that up with water, with objects that will float, objects that aren't floating. This is great for hand-eye coordination and a lot of your fine motor skills. And if your child's a little bit older and they're able to use tongs, this is great for fine motor that they can grab with the tongs out of the water and then put it into another bin as well. So a go fishing style activity is great for them to play with as well. And the last idea we've got is simply a pouring station. So again, filling up a couple different containers. If you've got little cups, if you've got a big pitcher available that you can do scooping, pouring into one, pouring into another. You can say, hey, let's see if we can fill up this bucket with water. So you're dipping in one, pouring into another. These are all super simple activities that you can do at home to introduce your child to water, that they're around it, they feel safe with it, they're getting wet. You're joking with them, you've got water on your face, you've got it on your hands. Your child doesn't have to be a certain age to introduce water activities with them. If they're sitting in a high chair, you can pour some water onto their high chair and they can start splashing the water around. They can put little toys on top of the high chair as well and get their little toys wet. So that's, of course, before they turn 1, you can really introduce that. But then as they're toddlers and even older, I have an 8-year-old who loves to get into bins. Like, we'll just fill up bins and she still loves to get in and sit in them and splash around and kind of joke in that way. So don't be afraid to introduce your children to water activities and have fun with it this summer, especially as the 10th time here in Memphis. We would love to help you with this if you have any questions around water play. If you are interested in hearing more about Rob and Janice and the services that they provide through Rob's Pool School, you can go to their website, which is swimpoolschool.com. And of course, we're here at Serves to help come alongside of you and your families, and are happy to share more information with you and how you can take these ideas and integrate them into your home. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.